Time for the ever precarious markets with Zach Ashmore. Zach?
Thanks, Mike. Markets went up last week, once again showing how volatile they are right now. Let's take a look. All green across the board. The largest gain, lumber, up $58.40. Soybeans and wheat also up $10 and $5 respectively. Why? As I said earlier, markets are volatile based on COVID-19 news. Everything changes on a day-to-day basis. This week, it's looking things might slide back, but who can tell? Last week, the USDA released the April 2020 WASDE report. Most row crops predicted lower exports, meat demand lower with high supply, so lower prices predicted there too. Market analyst Tomm Pfitzenmaier says the report was not quite accurate.
Well, overall it was bearish, mainly because demand has decreased. Corn, they inappropriately really cut back 375 million on the number of bushels that are going to be used to produce ethanol, which is a main reason why the carryout jumped. Beans, same thing. Not exactly the same thing, but exports were reduced, so the carryout there came out larger. Wheat bumped up a little bit too, so I mean, the demand side of the equation was a problem in that report.
As you saw earlier in the show, grocery stores booming from quarantine measures. The ongoing market effects can be felt from many angles, including the food supply chain. John Anderson from the University of Arkansas tells us more.
But we have had a major shift in how we consume food and where we consume food, and it's taken the supply chain a while to catch up on that. And the primary issue there is that, before COVID-19, typically we would get, numbers vary, but say from 40 to 50% of our food would be consumed away from home. Restaurants, food service, institutional kind of outlets. Now nearly all of it's being consumed at home, and we're buying it at the grocery store. And our processing plants and our retail outlets and really every part of the supply chain has had to adjust to try to shift that production, to try to optimize away from that, 40 to 50% being in restaurants to now all of it going through the grocery store. And that's created some bottlenecks. And so to the extent that we see shelves that are a little light, that's primarily what's going on. Not a real shortage, but a disruption in product flow. Will we get kind of whipsawed the other way where we need to suddenly move a lot of stuff back to food service optimization away from grocery store optimization? I think some of that could happen. I think some of that is probably inevitable. I think that'll probably be a little easier to manage because I think that'll probably be staged in gradually a little more than the transition initially was. And so I think it'll be manageable in a way that maybe this first step wasn't or was more difficult. One thing I would say that I think we all need to take note of is, given how quickly this disruption developed, I really do feel like our system has been very resilient. The adjustments that have been made by retailers, by processors, adjustments that affect everything down to the farm level. But I haven't seen completely empty shelves yet in the grocery stores that I've been in, and I've actually been in several because for me this is like research for me, right? Like I have to keep up with this stuff. So I've actually been really impressed that as quick as this hit happened and as major as it was, our system really has managed it very well overall.
And that's it for a deeper look into the markets. The quarantine has changed everything, as they say. We'll be keeping an eye on developments.